NCAP policies, just not city-based, but now we do have a national air quality program, the NCAP program, and which has identified about 132 cities as polluted cities, and they have been brought within a special focus to clean up the air. But you know what? Our analysis is showing that today it's a misnomer to actually differentiate between NCAP cities and non-NCAP cities. So when we analyze data for all cities for which air quality data is available, in fact, we don't have data for many cities in India today, but we find that there's very little difference in pollution levels between NCAP and non-NCAP cities, which actually brings out the fact that air pollution is really a national crisis, and we need to take a much wider view of this problem. In fact, what we have also found that if you compare the NCAP and non-NCAP cities, then the levels that they have, nearly both of them, especially in northern India, requires reduction target of about 50% or more to be able to meet the air quality standards.
In a city like Pune, where air quality is already in good and satisfactory, and sometimes it goes to poor and very poor. If you reduce by 30, you will, from satisfactory, you can go to good or something. So you are well within the permissible limit, whether you reduce or do not reduce. But in a city like Delhi, just look into that. In a winter time, you are in a very poor, suppose in a category. 300 is air quality index. 300 to 400 is a very poor. So suppose your air quality index is 380. Now you reduce by 30%. You will come out something like 310. You are still in very poor. So at the end of 24, we are celebrating the success of NCAP if we at all meet the target of 30%. But in a city, highly polluted cities like Delhi, Calcutta, or sometime Patna, Kanpur, many of IGPP related region where air pollution peaks during winter, we are from very poor to very poor. Maybe 1 or 2 severe air quality days might get reduced, but then not really getting anything out of the success which we will be celebrating. The mitigation targets has to be based on what kind of a location, what kind of a city, what is its present status you are dealing with. That during the COVID time, when there was a lockdown, all the anthropic sources of pollutants have closed. Weather was normal. Still, there was a pollutant level. And that is a pollutant level for which your body gets immune and you get susceptible to that because zero sources of emissions. And that is something what we call as a baseline level, which differs from city to city.
NCAP started in 2019. And the central assistance, and for the first time, we started to get funding for clean air mitigation. So the funding came under NCAP. Funding has also come under the 15th Finance Commission to the million plus ULBs. Now, what is important, and this has happened this year, that for the first time, this funding has become performance linked. So which means now for the cities to access central assistance or to get a cut, they will have to ensure and prove that they have been able to improve the air quality. But the benchmark of measuring that performance has to improve. So as you know that as of today, the benchmark that they take is PM10, which is most of it is dust. And as a result of that, what we are finding that when you review the action at the city level, that the most of the funding is getting tied with road sweeping, road dust, even though that's a contributor. But the more harmful fraction of pollution coming from combustion sources like industry, vehicles, waste burning, that is getting neglected. So we feel that now the PM2.5, which is a smaller particle and more harmful and come more from the combustion sources, that should become the basis of the performance, and then we will begin to see more changes.
I almost feel bad that we don't talk as much about the National Clean Air Program, because it's actually a very well-crafted program, not just in the terms of actions or institutional arrangements which are needed to implement it, but also in terms of the way it's being monitored and evaluated at the state, district and city levels. Now, I understand that there are concerns about air quality not really improving, but we also need to understand that air pollution or air quality is a trait which cannot have immediate short-term impacts, right? It is something which will see incremental impact. So air quality improvements will be seen in the longer term. Of course, immediate interventions in terms of ensuring that garbage burning comes to a stop, or construction sites are compliant, industrial sites are compliant, power plants are compliant. Ensuring compliance across sources of pollution is critical, but we also need to understand that you cannot see overnight air quality benefits. But there is action going on around the cities. I'll give you a simple statistic. When the National Clean Air Program was launched in 2019, there were close to 130 continuous air quality monitoring stations. Today, across the country, we have over 400 continuous monitoring stations, which means there is a focus on also improving the data availability around air pollution levels in the country. So while we are not really seeing drastic improvements in air quality, there is action happening on ground, and there is a need to also amplify messaging around these actions which may have localized benefits.